Hey everyone, what's going on? Back today with another video. This is another collection update actually. I've done a series so far called Bargain Bin Buys from where I bought some secondhand CDs from a local shop as well as some vinyl, so I've made 2 volumes of that. You'll remember in the first video I said that I hesitated on some CDs and then I went back the next time and they were all gone. That was true, except luckily I went back then subsequently and I actually saw those CDs again, so I decided to just snap them up instantly. So got another 6 to talk about. I've had these for a few weeks, but I just wanted to listen to them properly in some cases where I didn't know them very well, so I could properly talk about them. So 6 CDs for you today. It's pretty eclectic, so these are all secondhand and I got a good bargain, but very happy to have all of these in the collection, and some of them are slowly filling gaps. Okay, so first CD, which I picked up at Classic, which most people are no doubt familiar with. So this is AC/DC with Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. And this came out, I think it was in the 70s, I'm assuming it was Bon Scott era, yeah, 1976. So this was the first phase of the band with Bon Scott as lead vocalist. Classic album, I'm sure most people are familiar with the famous songs on this. Of course there's the title track, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Like, just great riff and chorus in that song, and that's a live favorite. I love that track, very catchy. But there's also a few others, quite a few I had never heard before, and that's the beauty of picking up these other not so well-known AC/DC albums. I'm learning new material on it as well. This was from the days when they were with Bon Scott. It was still sort of steeped in old rock and roll, and it was a bit bluesy. Like, you listen to the songs like Rocker, that's got a like 1950s rock and roll kind of vibe to it, the sound, except it's sped up. And also there's going to be some rockin' that's kind of bluesy, but then they also have those straight ahead hard rock tracks, which are great. So yeah, the title track is brilliant. As I said, Love It First Feel is very catchy. Some of my other favorite songs, Big Balls. Like, at first I thought that song is a bit silly. Like, maybe in those days it was quite shocking to speak that way, you know, in lyrics. Well, that's what I thought, and I thought these days, you know, it's not that shocking. But then as I listened to that song more and more, actually Bon Scott's like double entendres and his plays on words in that song, and the chorus, like, I've got big balls. Like, maybe I need to grow up or something, but like, I actually found it quite funny. Like, the lyrics are actually quite witty in that song. So and especially the different voices he puts on, so that's actually a really funny song in a good way. I think probably my favorite track on the whole album though is Problem Child. Like, such a simplistic but awesome rocking riff in that song. I really like it. Also, Ain't No Fun Waiting Around to Be a Millionaire. Yeah, that's also a very good song. Yeah, Ride On and Squealer. So pretty much the whole album is great. Like, yeah, just, I'm not so much a big fan of that like traditional rock and roll and bluesy stuff, but there is a place for it sometimes. But in any event, very good album. What's cool about this one is it actually comes with a lyric sheet and booklet, which is unusual for some of these early albums. But yeah, that's nice. And just a plain CD with this. So yeah, fantastic, just raw hard rock, brilliant album. As I said, best songs, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap and Problem Child for me, but the whole thing is great. Okay, so up next, now this one I already own on vinyl, but I thought, you know, the ritual when you play a record, you sit down, you put the needle to the record, it's all quite an effort, and sometimes it's nice just to have the CD version so you can just pop it in and play it when you're busy. So I also picked up Fly on the Wall. So this is now my second copy, yeah, vinyl and CD. Like I've said before on this channel, I think this album is really underrated. A lot of people saw this album as a disappointing one, or kind of like a rush job, and I honestly don't see how. I think it's really great. Like, some of the most heavy rocking riffs on this album, really catchy choruses. It's pure rock to me. Like, you listen to songs like Fly on the Wall, the title track, and also like Hell or High Water. It's just so rocking, like brilliant stuff. I can see some people don't like the song Danger. Like, I've heard them say like it's a bit repetitive and boring, and like, I respect how someone could see it that way. For me, I find that song just really hooky and catchy. So it just goes to show we all have our different opinions about it. But yeah, some of my favorite tracks on this, so the title track, Fly on the Wall, also Shake Your Foundations, awesome rocking song, great anthemic chorus in that song. My absolute favorite song on the album, as I mentioned way back when, I think, is First Blood. Like, just that riff in that, it is pure rock, and also the vocals. And you know, the parts where like it's kind of this strutting riff and then it's just like the open chord. It's awesome. It's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, Danger, as I said, is a good song. Like just I don't know, so easily catchy, that song. Another favorite track apart from First Blood for me is Sink the Pink. Like awesome, another rocking riff, great chorus. Like the chorus in that, like if you're not shouting and pounding your fist, I don't know what will make you do that. Brilliant, brilliant song. And then side B, I mean, I like all of the songs here, you know, like they're all great. Yeah, Hell or High Water is one which really stands out, but they're all good like all the others on here. So honestly, no bad tracks on this album, and underrated. So if you haven't heard it, don't listen to the critics, don't even listen to the diehard, so-called diehard fans. Always check music out for yourself. So that's Fly on the Wall. What's really cool about this one is it comes with a picture disc, so I like that. And yeah, even lyrics inside. And by the way, I really like the cover art and imagery for this album. Like it's sort of cartoon-like and simplistic, but very colorful. And you got the 5 members of the band there. So this was the one, I think classic lineup actually, well, like Brian Johnson was vocalist by this point. This one came out in '85 after Flick of the Switch. Simon Wright on drums and Cliff Williams on bass, and of course the Malcolm brothers on guitars. So yes, don't listen to what people say, check it out for yourself. It's a great album, AC/DC, Fly on the Wall. Okay, and I really realized I just messed up the chronology. I got 3 AC/DC albums, so this one 76, this one 85. There was one in between which I picked up. I'm very happy to have this one, AC/DC with For Those About to Rock. This one came out in 1981, so it was the follow-up to Back in Black. For some reason I thought it was later on in the 80s, but yeah, absolutely fantastic album. Like honestly, like I've mentioned this before, that my favorite era for AC/DC, with all due respect to Bon Scott, because I love that material as well, I just think the 80s is where they had the best production and the heaviest, most rocking riffs, that kind of thing. And yeah, I think Brian Johnson is also a fantastic vocalist, so I don't understand why some die-hard old school fans would say they never want to listen to him. Just madness to me. But great album here. So this has got it's interesting, this album, it's kind of, you know, a lot of AC/DC songs are kind of, they're never really fast, they've sort of got that mid-pace strut. This one is mid-pace too. Often the songs are actually quite slow, but don't let it fool you that it's a wimpy album. It's not. Like they've just got a lot of like slow rocking riffs. Like for example, in the title track, For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. That is quite a slow song, but like just really heavy, deep guitar riffs in that song, and like great guitar melodies and everything. The chorus is brilliant, it's anthemic. And by the way, when I saw them in the year 2000, that was in Sydney, I think they had the cannons on stage for this, you know, in that song where they set the 21 gun salute, and it was awesome. Like that song just rocks. I love that song, For Those About to Rock. Now, a lot of these other songs I wasn't all that familiar with, so again, discovering them, but some of my other favorite tracks 2 and 3, I Put the Finger on You and Let's Get It Up, just so incredibly catchy and strutting, it's great. I listened to this again when I was working out yesterday. COD was a real standout track for me as well. But like, yeah, Inject the Venom is quite catchy. And one of my other favorite songs would be Night of the Long Knives, definitely. But once again, 10 tracks on this album, you really can't go wrong. Yeah, it's like a great rocking album from beginning to end. And actually, it's funny, this came out a year after Back in Black. I much prefer it to Back in Black at the moment, in the sense that I've heard Back in Black a million times, but this is still quite new. But yeah, I think sometimes when you overkill material, it's always good to hear other material from a band. So yeah, very happy to get these 3 AC/DC albums. And now for the 80s discography, I've just got one more to collect, which is Blow Up Your Video, and then I'll have the entire 80s discography for AC/DC. So looking out for that one. Yeah, definitely. All right, so on to something new. Something I picked up. Again, this was one I just saw and just selected it in 2 seconds. Europe with 1982 to 1992. So as you can probably guess, this is a greatest hits compilation, like best songs from that period, which is what many people consider to be their classic era. Like Europe is associated with the 80s. Yeah, I do have a couple of their albums on record, but as James, Mr. Boulder, has said many times, like sometimes it's nice just to have all the songs conveniently on one CD, like all the hit songs you want to hear. That's definitely the case with this album. on this one, there were actually a few songs I hadn't heard before, so it was really interesting to hear some new material as well. So just plain disc here. What's interesting, this is a booklet which has a lot of photographs and like a history of the band, so it's talking about their sort of chronology, their career, a lot of photos. Yeah, very thick booklet. And yeah, not lyrics, just talking about, I think they also talk about the different lineups, yeah. But yeah, nice collector's item. If you've never heard the band Europe, unlikely, or you're interested to hear them, this would be a good place to start. Actually, I remember a few years ago I bought one for a family member, which was a 2-disc set. That was even better because obviously 2 discs you get more songs, but they've sort of stripped it down to bare essentials on this one. Some of the songs that I'd never heard before, which I really like, are In the Future to Come, and what was the other one? Yeah, Ready or Not is really good. Sorry, I should backtrack a bit. So with Europe, it's sort of like melodic hard rock from the 80s. So like, is it associated with hair metal? Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. But it's also kind of hair metal, pop metal. Yeah, just very 80s in style. But for someone like a preteen like myself who was growing up in the 80s, this kind of music was the soundtrack to that era. And like I remember, I think the first song I ever heard by this band was Rock the Night. I was traveling with a friend in his car, and he said, "Oh, I like this song." This is when I was in Canberra, and I remember, I'll never forget that. And I go, "Oh, who sings this song? It's really good." This is when I was about 8 years old or something. But yeah, all of the greatest hits conveniently on here. So I'll just cut to the chase. These are my favorite songs. So you've got Open Your Heart, Dreamer, The Final Countdown, Rock the Night, Carrie. I know a lot of people don't like that ballad. I actually do, just catchy and easy to sing along to. Cherokee, I love that song. Like, that song is one, it's so anthemic. You're just pumping your fist in the air, singing along. Maybe I speak for myself. But Cherokee is a great song, to sing your heart out. And also there's Stormwind. So Stormwind is my favorite Europe song of all time. Like, just so much atmosphere. It's got this Swedish 80s melodic sound, which I just love. So I remember the first time I heard that, like quite a few years back now, I just thought, wow, this song is striking. So Stormwind is my favorite Europe song, also on here. But you hear all those other classics. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this. Now, some people might be wondering, not that it's really important, but is the song Stormwind the inspiration for this channel name? The answer is partly yes, because I couldn't think of a name for this channel. Like, I'm not very confident or creative like that. And then I just was thinking, oh yeah, I really like that Europe song Stormwind, and it's got a good name. And also the UK black metal band has a song called Stormwinds of Lucifer, I think. Yeah. And then I thought, actually that's a suitable name, because what I was trying to invoke with that name was say that this channel encapsulates everything from hair metal to black metal. That's my musical taste. So Stormwind has that thing in common with both bands. Anyway, I'm rambling on, but in case you're wondering. Okay, yeah, but absolutely great compilation. One other thing, I don't know, I could be very lucky here. See this signature? I realize that it's written in Artline pen. Is it? No, I think it's just printed on, I'm not sure. But if someone's written it, that's worth a lot of money because it's Joey Tempest's signature, but hey, that's too good to be true, isn't it? Anyway, if you like melodic hard rock, 80s music, hair metal, definitely check this out. Europe 1982 to 1992. Okay, I'm not going too badly for time, I say. All right, so 2 more to talk about. So, up next, Jimi Hendrix with The Ultimate Experience. So, you'll recall, if you saw Bargain Bin Buys Volume 1, I said I was never really a huge fan of Jimi Hendrix and I was quite selective, but after I bought that blues album, I became a bit more interested in his music. I saw this one and thought, it's so cheap in this bargain bin, why not? Might as well get it, So there were actually 3 Jimi Hendrix compilations there. This was one of them. So there was Jimi Hendrix Smash Hits, the very best of Jimi Hendrix, and this one is called The Ultimate Experience. So all of the songs on those 3 albums were overlapping. They're pretty much the same greatest hits, sometimes a little bit different, but the one which made me buy this one over the other 2 was that it features All Along the Watchtower. So For those who don't know, that was a cover of the Bob Dylan song, and I just love the Jimi Hendrix cover of that song, specifically and especially because it's from one of my favorite movies of all time. So I'm not sure if people know it. It's quite an obscure movie, but one of my favorite movies of all time is With Noel and I, which is an English film, British film starring Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann and Richard Griffiths, and it's about these two washed out, unemployed actors, you know, they're a bit burned out from everything, you know, alcohol and everything else, and they have no work, so they decide to have this getaway weekend in the country. And anyway, when you see them driving away in the big car, leaving London with the wrecking ball smashing down buildings, they're playing this song, and it's just like so fitting and gritty and appropriate for that setting in London. So anyway, if you haven't seen that movie, check it out. It's hilarious. Like it's not a Hollywood blockbuster, and good. I don't really like that stuff, you know, like superhero movies and all that shit. Like I'd much prefer something like this, a kind of like dark off-the-wall comedy. But anyway, All Along the Watchtower is a great song, and I love it because of that movie. This has got so many other great hits, like some of the other ones that I've mentioned that I really like. It's got Hey Joe, it's got The Wind Cries Mary, Voodoo Child, Foxy Lady. I have to admit, I know that's a kind of cliched song, but it's very catchy and I do like it. Foxy Lady is great. Also Crosstown Traffic, brilliant song, like the guitar melodies in that and the vocals, fantastic. Red House is another one which I discovered through the blues album. That's a very bluesy song, which is great, but brilliant guitar solos, and also some new ones which I discovered here, like Manic Depression is a great song. Same with Gypsy Eyes. Everyone Knows Fire, that's a great song. Another one that I really like is Wait Until Tomorrow. So it's got like my classic favorite songs by Jimi Hendrix, but also hearing some new stuff which I really like, which is great. Yeah, they've got the cover of like Star Spangled Banner, like that's never, I mean, I'm not being anti-American obviously, but like, I mean, when Guitar Heroes do that song, yeah, I'm not too fussed. It's also got Wild Thing, which is great. So what a great compilation, like so many brilliant songs on this. And yeah, they also have Purple Haze. Now let me just be clear, I remember I said that I didn't like Purple Haze that much. Let me clarify, I don't dislike the song, I just don't like the vocal melody, but I have to admit that lick at the chorus, like, it's very catchy. So yeah, you can't go wrong with this. If you're looking for just a snapshot of Jimi Hendrix, I would say this would be a good place to start, but definitely check out that blues album as well, because that's something different for him. So Jimi Hendrix with The Ultimate Experience. Just showing you, there's a really detailed booklet, once again. You know, talking about the history of the band and his songwriting style, discography, pictures. I think this is him when he was growing up. And also a picture disc. So yeah, that's cool. All right, now the last one. This is definitely the most random out of all of them, and it might shock some people, like, what the hell? But if you've seen my Guilty Pleasures video, you'll realize that I have a diverse taste in music, and I think we should never feel guilty about the music we listen to. Just sometimes you might listen to something which is surprising to people. So this one, I just saw it in 2 seconds. I went, yep, let's get it. Sorry, 1 second. So here we go. Yep, this. So Lemonheads with It's a Shame About Ray. So if you've not heard of this band, they were an alternative, well, they still are actually, alternative rock band. Very famous in the 1990s. At least they were in Australia, I think also UK and America. But for me, this album is just a time capsule. Like when I was 14 years old in 1993, this band was huge, and I remember I really, really liked the sound. The way I discovered them was through the cover of the Simon and Garfunkel song Mrs. Robinson. They had a video clip for that on MTV. Then I bought that single, which had some acoustic tracks. At that age, I didn't even like acoustic songs, but like then I heard these and I just thought, wow, this is amazing. Like the songwriting is just fantastic. So it's funny, Mrs. Robinson is the single which made this band famous. And let me just backtrack a bit. While it's alternative indie rock, they actually started their career out as a punk band, like sounding like bands like Minor Threat, sort of a gritty punk band. And I've got some of those albums, they're brilliant. And then they started evolving into like making it sort of like electric guitar, Led Zeppelin-esque alternative music crossed with some country. But it's got a very indie alternative sound. So anyway, I discovered this band through Mrs. Robinson, which is the last track on this album. That's actually the least interesting. So it's funny, Kurt Cobain, I remember, he said, oh, the Lemonheads, they're the only famous thing that's happened since us, and like they're a fucking alternative cover band. It's like, hey, wait a minute, pal. first of all, your band did covers too. Secondly, Lemonheads didn't do any more covers than you. That was the cover which made them famous. Yeah, it kicked the door down for them, except then it made people discover their music, which I think is much better than the cover. So I don't know about Kurt Cobain. Like, it seemed like he didn't like his own band becoming famous, but he also didn't like other bands. So sounded very difficult to please. But I think he was one of those elitists, like only the right bands should become famous. But anyway, this band deserved to, because like I said, you start listening to this music, you realize the original stuff is much better. Like, it's just so like melodic and irresistible, very catchy songwriting. And the main songwriter and like guitarist and vocalist in this band, Evan Dando, he's like these days pretty eccentric and random guy, but I think he's really funny. That guy can write songs like so infectious, so melodic, so catchy. Like, a lot of people see this as a kind of like hippie or teeny bopper band. I don't think so. It's more like yeah, there were a lot of teenage girl fans when they were famous. I think that was because of Evan Dando. You know, like they thought he was good looking or something. But like, listen to the music and like it's absolutely fantastic. So there's no 13 tracks on this album, no bad ones whatsoever. Just maybe they also have a cover of Frank Mills, which I'm not sure who did that, but it's okay, but like nothing exciting. Then the only other song I don't like is Buddy, which is like a sort of a soppy wimpy track, and it's got some keyboards. It's just a little bit depressing. But then you look at all these songs, the guitar riffs, the heaviness, the diversity, the melody, both in terms of the guitars and vocals, it's just absolutely infectious. The other single from this album was It's a Shame About Ray, the title track, which is really good. Then you just look at songs like Bit Part, Allison's Starting to Happen, Kitchen, Ceiling Fan in My Spoon. Incredibly catchy, like song after song of catchy songs. It's amazing. Then they also change it up sometimes, like Hannah and Gabby's got some, like a country feel with some slide guitars. Yeah, Rocking Stroll, the opening track, is good. Let me tell you about my favorite tracks though. Absolute favorites would be tracks 2, so Confetti, that's probably my favorite song on the album. Like, brilliant melody, great video clip for that song as well. Also Rudderless, track 4, just amazing. And also, that's got backing vocals from Juliana Hatfield. I think she was the bass player. Sometimes I found her backing vocals a bit unnecessary, and no, I'm not being sexist because she was a woman, but I felt they were overused, especially in the album after this. But in that song Rudderless, just amazing. That song is infectious, it's unbelievable, I love it. And also track 6, The Turnpike Down, that's one where it's dominated by acoustic guitars. That's the thing, this band, it's often acoustic guitars, then they have some sort of heavy electric guitars. So to describe their musical style, it's hard. Like Lovey and this one, it's sort of like a cross between Led Zeppelin, country music, heavy metal, pop music, alternative music, all mixed into one. But the result is just absolutely unique and original. I remember when I was a really huge fan of this band back in the day, like even my parents admitted, like my dad was going, yeah, this band's really good. They have a totally new sound. So don't let their image of them being a so-called hippie or teeny bopper band deter you. You should definitely check it out. If you appreciate good music and good songwriting, check it out. So just show you the booklet. By the way, pretty cool cover art for this one. And yeah, picture of the band. So it's Evan Dando, Juliana Hatfield, and David Ryan. Oh, by the way, who is a fantastic drummer. On this album, Juliana Hatfield played bass, but then she was replaced by the Australian guy, Nick Dalton, who played on the Mrs. Robinson video clip. But yeah, this one, as you can see, I really like it. I lost this one years and years ago in a move, but like I was so happy to find it again, and it's a blast from the past. Like, this is taking my mind back to 1993 when I was 14 years old, everything that was happening in my life. So yeah, the power of nostalgia. But so many other good albums by this band, which I will talk about later. But if you're open-minded and you like good music, definitely check this band out because the songwriting's amazing. So that's Lemonheads with It's a Shame About Ray. Okay guys, so that's it. 6 CDs for this video, and I won't go on too much longer. I hope you enjoyed the video and you can appreciate my diversity in musical taste. No hate, please. If you don't like any of these bands, that's fine. But I think all of them have something worthwhile, worth checking out. So thanks for sticking around if you've made it this far. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Alright, so I'm not sure what the next video will be, but I will be back soon. So in the meantime, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.